Part One of Visits to the Dead in the Catacombs of Rome. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by David Wales. Visits to the Dead in the Catacombs of Rome by George Washington Greene. Part One. La terre avait gémi sous le fer des tyrans, elle cachait encore des martyrs expirants, qui dans les noix des tours des grottes reculées, dérobaient au bureau leurs têtes mutilées. Bernie, Poème de la Religion vengée, Chapter 8. A visit to the catacombs usually comes in as a part of the prescribed round of rites which fill up the traveller's 10 days at Rome. You ride out to St. Sebastian, a Cistercian monk leads you through the church, from chapel to chapel and altar to altar, points out the spot where the holy relics are kept, the head of St. Calixtus, an arm of St. Andrew, the oratory where the primitive popes gathered their little flocks around them to say mass over the tombs of St. Peter and St. Paul, and the very chair in which they used to sit, and where one of them, St. Stephen, received the crown of martyrdom. It is an old story for him. He has told it half a dozen times to day before you came, and now goes through it again, with the self-same words and genuflections, and in that monotonous showman's tone which would disgust you with the Vatican itself. Then, lighting a taper and giving you another for yourself, he leads you down a narrow staircase, through winding galleries, chilly and damp, which cross and interweave with each other in inextricable labyrinths, and after going a few turns, tells you that it is unsafe to go any further, and that many a rash explorer, venturing merely a step or two out of the common track, has been led no one knew whither, and was never heard of again. You follow him back, picking your way by the dim light of your taper, asking yourself, as you look into the darkness of the forbidden galleries, if this is all. Pay your fee at the head of the stairway, and drive home just in time for dinner and your torchlight excursion to the Vatican. Next morning you talk the matter over at breakfast, and come to the conclusion that the interest of the catacombs is, after all, merely a question of the imagination. And you are right. All of these things depend upon the imagination. The pleasure of living at Rome is in a great degree a pleasure of the imagination. The Colosseum is merely a vast pile of stones for 9/10 of the travellers who work themselves up into raptures over its crumbling arches. I once went through the Vatican by torchlight with a very respectable gentleman from Wall Street, who entertained me all the way by a disquisition upon the probable cost of such a building in the United States. If you wish to enter into the spirit of such scenes and enjoy them as they ought to be enjoyed, you must not be in a hurry. They belong to a part of our nature which is too far removed from the common questions of life to be merely the slave of the will. The power of bringing ourselves into communion with those who have lived before us and for us was given to us as a means of refining and purifying the soul, in order to strengthen ourselves for the sacrifices which we, in our turn, must make for those who are to come after us. There is something in it which elevates and expands, and the man who can thus enlarge his conception of his relations with the universe has brought himself nearer to that Being for whom all events and all time are but a single perception, calling forth the same feelings of compassion and love. I had been to the catacombs myself, just as everybody else does on a first visit to Rome, carrying away with me no definite impression, and soon
Sample complete. Ready to continue?